They say into your eyes, romance came.
Alright guys, finishing up the night here at the shop, putting on an M&S Rear Spoiler. M&S Rear Spoiler, we got paint matched to the car, the micro blue. There's a Kia Stinger GT. So we're going to go over a couple things real quick on doing the spoiler install. First thing, M&S sends a 3M tape put on the back side of the spoiler. This is a good tape. I really like this tape. It works well. I just happen to like the 3M. Also, that's a little bit wider and it's a little bit more sponge to it, and this has a really good waterproof seal on it. This is not bad tape. It works fantastic. Here in Washington State or in the Pacific Northwest, we got to deal with a lot of rain. Decided to go with a little bit more tape. Something you're going to want to pay attention to when you're putting this on. The tape, you want the tape to close up any gaps, any corners you want it touching. Put a little bit of extra in here to help seal it. You do not want any water penetration to sneak in through the edge of the tape. So make sure you get that lined up and flush with the next layer of tape. So here on the back of the car, we got the car all washed up, cleaned up. You don't want to have any, right now we've got a ton of pollen out here. You want to try to have as little pollen as you can. You want to have it dry if you can. Lift any of the wax up. You're going to want to go through and test fit it. You are going to want to get, one thing M&S didn't send is an alcohol wipe. You want to have the alcohol wipe for when you go through and wipe down all the edges where the tape sits. The alcohol wipe just removes all the oils, greases, whatever is going to be on there. Bugs, who knows. So what I'm doing right now is I'm checking the outline, seeing where it sits. Pay real close attention, push it in. There's a small gap here, there's a small gap over here, because once you set this down, you got one shot at this. One shot. Once this tape hits, you're done. Hopefully, during the video, we get lucky and don't screw it up. This back here is going to be real important. So when you bring this spoiler in, you're probably going to want to bring it in, back up. So butt down first. Try to line that up left and right. Get it lined up. Make sure your gaps are even on both sides. Push it down all the way. And then push it forward. You want to make sure, go ahead and come here, that this doesn't sit down too far, because I had it down too far. So you want to make sure that you got this sitting right on the edge of that. So that's going to be really important, and that is going to be really difficult to do. So let's get started with prepping this thing out. Make sure your hands are clean too. When you go through and do this, you want to make sure you don't have a bunch of oil or crud on your hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe the sealing edge here, wipe all the way along the bottom, back across. Okay, let that dry. Let's set this down real quick, check the fitment, see where I have to be up front here. Okay.
Why don't you just wipe the whole thing down?
I can. The alcohol is evaporating really quick in the rag. If anyone's wondering, that was my wife who gave me the recommendation. Gina, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
Say hello everyone, come on now. Alright, let's get this laid up here one more time. I'm going to test fit this a couple times with the tape on, just so I can get an idea as to how it's going to fit. Looks like it's about the best it's going to go. And down too far. Alright. Here we go, we're gonna pull this tape off.
Do you have to pull it all off?
No. And actually what we can do, there's another way we can go about this too. So I may take a look at trying to do this a different way. So, yeah.
Do you need help?
No, I think, I got it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull these two inner pieces off. And then what I'm gonna do, this has gotta be painful for people to watch. Okay, so we got the two inner pieces off. So, another thing you can do is that we can put this on, pack it down real quick with those two inner pieces, find out where we're at, and then you go through and pre-lift the corners of the tape. Okay, so we just get a corner lifted. Okay. I'm going to go through and lift a couple corners here. Because this will keep you from making the mistake of just trying to slam the damn thing on.
Especially if it's not aligned properly.
Yeah. And I am just struggling here. Get it nice and close so people can see what I'm screwing up. Okay, so I believe we're gonna have like 3 minutes of just watching me try to peel the edge of tape off. Okay, so we got that. Now we only got one more left. So send this last piece right here, because the other pieces we're going to pull down all the way from the other side. Okay, so you have all these exposed.
Yep.
And so what we do is we're going to set this down on here gently. Stuck. Okay. Okay. So now I want to check my line right here. My line right here looks good. Probably come down ever so slightly. I guess. Good. Yeah. Okay. So now we're just gonna peel these corners up really quick. Is that up or down? It's down. So we're gonna peel this corner down really quick to expose that. We're gonna stick that right there for right now. I'm gonna come over here. Go ahead and walk over here. Get around me. I'm gonna pull this one up. Normally you want to have them to where they come up. You want to put some tension. Now you want to pull across the spoiler.
Make it tight.
Yep, make it tight because
You don't want it loose.
yep, you don't want it to come loose. Okay, so I got both my corners on, right? So I'm looking at my bottom down here. And you want to make sure that that sits flush with the edge of the trunk. So now we go through and pull our tape off. Okay.
And then push.
Okay, give it a little push. Okay, now I got to pull this piece of tape up top. Now, this one should go really, really smooth.
It was pretty easy.
Yeah, so now the important part is you want to put a little pressure on this. This is a brand new painted part. I feel bad just mashing my fingers into it, but they did bake it for me before they sent it. So it's all been baked out. We do have a couple of rags. I got a chamois here so I can put a little bit of pressure on it with my hand.
What does that do?
The chamois just protects it from pounding.
No, I mean pounding on it. Does that just
pushing on it?
make it stick better?
Yeah, pushing on it makes it stick bigger, and your fingerprints with freshly painted stuff, you just end up pushing your fingerprints into it. Like, whew, what I did right there. So now we're just going to push these in and put some pressure on it. You want to get that tape to adhere. You want to get that pressure built into that tape. You don't want your $200 wing, actually with this being color matched, you don't want your $400 wing falling off on you on the freeway. Put a good amount of pressure on it. If you want, go ahead and sneak up here above my head real quick. You can look down here at the pressure tape, and when I push on it, you can see that pressure tape squish out a little bit. You see that in the video?
Not really.
Not really?
Well, kinda. Yeah.
So if you kind of just push along this edge, get that pressure tape to just push out a little bit, then you know you're really getting a fantastic seal with the edge of the spoiler in relationship to the body of the car. Now what you want to be really careful of is that once you get into the middle here, there's not as nearly as much support as there is on the outside corner. So you're going to want to reduce your pushing a little bit so you don't crack the paint on the spoiler, crack the spoiler, stuff like that. So it's a really nice sunny day here. So we'll leave this sitting out here in the sun for a little bit, a sunny evening I should say, and let this tape seal up the heat. The heat just helps the tape. If we were installing this, and let's say it was 40 degrees out or something like that, I'd probably recommend running a hairdryer over it, getting the surface temperature up a little bit.
Because it makes it stickier and stick.
It makes the adhesive on the tape a tiny bit stickier, but the other important part is it makes everything a little bit more pliable. The plastic, the fiber plastic spoiler is a little more pliable. The trunk's a little bit more pliable. The paint's a little bit more willing to absorb the heat and the adhesive than a cold piece of plastic, cold piece of metal. So going through, getting a good push on the back side. All right, so pros and cons. I'm gonna go over these really quick. Pros. This is how the car should have looked, I think, from the factory. I love this look.
The spoiler.
The spoiler, yeah. I absolutely love the spoiler. Pseudo Viper, almost. A little bit more height to it would have been a little bit better for me. Most people would probably think it's too much. That's, for me, that's a pro. Con. Well, we color matched it. It's probably within about, I don't know, a shade and a half. We have a lot of reflective sun coming off of here right now. It's just a tad bit light. So what I am going to be doing is taking this back, making sure we have them redo the color match. I am going to get a new spoiler, and the reason I'm going to get a new spoiler, come on over here. So when they went through and they baked it, I don't even, can you see that? Okay, so you can feel it, you can see it. What happened is the fiber plastic that this is made out of absorbed some of the chemicals from the paint, and it reacted and it flaked up a little bit down here. So it's not a big deal. That is something that can be dealt with. The problem being, I just want to get a new one, start over so I can get the color a little bit closer, and we don't have all that peel inside the spoiler. This is more of us showing you how to do the install, how it looks when it's done, how to avoid the mistakes that are going to be made when you go through and do the spoiler. If you were to just peel off all that tape and just try to slam it on, yeah, that ain't going to work. It's not going to work. You're not going to get a good tight seal. You want to pull that tape across on that angle like you saw us do. Gina's getting you some good close pictures of the fitment over here. The spoiler fits well. It really does fit well. It has a nice flat bottom to it. It's snugged up nice and tight on the outside edges. Pulled down on the fronts really clean.
Can you open the trunk?
Yeah, I can open that. Hopefully, oh, no dead bodies. Good.
I
no
want to
dead.
see the.
So-
The light was just bad down here.
Yeah. So if you can see, I went through and I maintained a flat level all the way across. It came up ever so slightly right here, but it's almost not even visible.
Where?
Right here. Just the spoiler came up ever so slightly. Just slightly raised right there.
Yeah.
So I should have. You gotta remember, this is where I started the tape from. When I started pulling the tape, I probably let that slide up a tiny. So that's not a big deal.
Okay.
But when you open and close it, let's just go over this right now. Open it. Don't grab this thing and just yank down on it. Yank down on that, you're gonna yank that spoiler off. So reach up here, put your hand up on top, push down on it. You gotta remember the spoiler's only held on with some pieces of tape.
Right.
So other than that, Kia Stinger GT, we got the M&S Rear Spoiler on. We showed you how to get it done. If we do decide to end up going through redoing another one, we'll make sure we do a video on that with the color match a little bit closer and not all this scale down here in the paint. Thanks for watching, guys.